strange, right? Odd, right? So if everybody has a way of darkness, a way of death, but then here comes somebody that have a way of life, well, that's odd, because everybody is used to darkness. Everybody is used to the ways of death. But here you come with a way of life. Well, now you're strange. You're odd, right? Uncommon, unusual. So again, all nations have ways of darkness, ways that leads to death. But here come the special chosen children with the ways of light, the ways of life. All right. So now that's not the usual way of darkness that all these nations have. This one nation have the way of life. All right. The way of light. All right. And that's us, the Israelites. So it says distinctive in nature or character from others. You see, our nature is distinct because we have the law of life. See, all their laws that they make up, from their ways that they have, these heathen nations, again, it leads ultimately to death. Okay? And let's continue on. It says belonging exclusively to some person. So the peculiar people, us, the Israelites, belong exclusively to the Most High God. All right. That's why in that Joel 2:27, it says, matter of fact, just real quick, let me go ahead and grab it. I don't want to butcher it. Joel 2:27, and ye shall know that I am in the midst of Israel, and that I am the Lord your God, and none else, and my people shall never be ashamed. You see, and none else. He said he's the Lord our God. All right. Because here it is, these heathen nations, they got their own gods. All right. That they just made up. All right. And that's why it says right here, Psalms 96:5. It says, for all the gods of the nations are idols. They just made them up. But the Lord Yahweh made the heavens. All right. So here it is. That's why the scriptures talk about blessed is the nation whose God is Yahweh. All right. And so that's us, the Israelites, because for all the gods of the nations are idols. All right. Just made up. See, the Most High God, Yahweh. All right. He's not made up. He's not made up. He lives. All right. He's the creator. But so let's go back to that definition, heritage. Okay, so it says something that that comes or belongs to one by reason of birth. So all those that stem from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right. Well, this belongs to you, the law of life. All right. The law of life is part of your heritage, all right, your inheritance, all right, because here it is, it goes on in this definition, all right, number 2, it says how that something that comes or belongs to one by reason of birth, an inherited lot or portion. Now watch this. Let's go to this Wisdom of Solomon, because the wicked, all right, the wicked, who is Esau, Edom, right? The wicked nation of people, right? And we, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the biblical Israelites, all right? We are the godly, right? Because he gave us the godly way, the law of life, all right? Now, Esau, Edom, all right, which is the wicked nation of people, are the ungodly, okay? They are the exact opposite of us, right? Well, they got a heritage too, because an inheritance as well. Because again, it says something that comes or belongs to one by reason of birth, an inherited lot or portion, right? Now, watch this. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 1. It says, for the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright, our life is short and tedious, and in the death of man there is no remedy. neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. So right now, off the back, we understand that this is the mindset of the ungodly, because it says at the top, for the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, reasoning with themselves. All right. But not aright. So not rightly, not correctly, not righteously. Okay. So this is their mindset. Now let's jump down to verse 6. All right. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 6. This is the mindset of the ungodly. Come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth. Let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass us by. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part in our voluptuousness. All right, you look up the word voluptuousness. It basically goes into fulfilling the desires of the flesh. All right, carnal. All right. And this is what the wicked is, carnal. And they teach you to be like them, to be carnal, okay, as opposed to spiritual and rolling with the ways and righteousness of the Most High God, rolling with the laws of life. All right. No, the ungodly want you to roll with their ways. OK, so it says, let none of us go without his part in our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place. For this is our portion, and our lot is this. So this present temporal evil world, for them to live their best life, this is their portion. This is their lot. All right. They have a temporal evil portion. OK, and that's this temporal evil world and power over it, and to flourish in it. All right. This is their portion. See, this is not our portion. See, our portion is a righteous, eternal portion, but we got to wait on that. All right. For us to get our inheritance fully put in us, we have to wait on that. All right. For the law of life to be put in our inward parts. All right. We have to wait on that. OK. All the while, fight to rehearse our way. All right. Even though we're trapped in this flesh that want to do everything of the wicked, of the ungodly. And that's why it's a fight. OK, so it says, let us oppress the poor righteous man. You see, the ungodly is saying, let us oppress the poor righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Let our strength be the law of justice. You see, let our strength and them being in power, and the Most High has allowed them a time to, excuse me, the Most High God has allowed them a time, all right, to be in power. Okay, he's allowed that, all right, for a purpose and for a time, and that time is almost up. But it says, let our strength be the law of justice. For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous. This is what they do. Let us lie in wait for the righteous. Who is the righteous? You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who are the biblical Hebrew Israelites. All right. We are the righteous. It says, because he is not for our turn and is clean contrary to our doings. You see, the ungodly, the wicked, he say that us, the Israelites, we are clean contrary to their doings, because their doings is a wickedness, ungodliness, which leads to death. All right. So it's a way of death, and our way is contrary to the way of death. See, our way that was given to us from the Most High God is a way of life. So are you trying to flourish right now in this present evil world, and you rolling with the ways of death? See, because the ways of death get to flourish right now. See, but that's why the Lord is coming to put that way to bed. All right. Put the way of death to death. All right. And those that was about those diverse ways, because it's many ways of death. All right. So if you about any of them, all right, because like the scripture says, you going about to establish your own righteousness. See, but the Most High already had established what righteousness is. So if you try to establish your own righteousness, best believe that's a way of death and not righteousness at all. All right. So if you're not submitting to the righteousness of the Most High God, you're actually going into a way of death. All right. And those that's ruling right now, the ungodly, the wicked, oh, they cool with that. All right. They cool with that. They'll wind up letting you flourish with them. OK, they'll give you suitcases of money. OK, and let you flourish with them. All right. Not on their same plane. No, you're going to be way under them. All right. But still have some type of, so-called flourishing here in this present evil world if you're about a way of death. Now, if you're about a way of life, well, you're clean contrary to them, and they're going to call you a hate group. They're going to call you, all demonize you and all manner of things. All right. If you about the way of life. All right. If you about the law of life. OK, so but the point is that for this is our portion and our lot is this. So this is the portion of the wicked, this present temporal evil world. So you don't want to flourish with the wicked because they have all manner of ways of death. OK, so let's continue on because the way of life, all right, was given unto us because going back into that heritage, right? It says something that comes or belongs to one by reason of birth, right? So you have to be born, all right? Basically, you have to stem from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all right? That what make you a Hebrew Israelite, okay? And that's when comes all the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of God and the promises. All right. Were given to those who stem from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, making you an Israelite. OK, so let's go to this Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 44. All right. Chapter 44. Chapter 44, verse 19. So it says, Abraham was a great father of many people, and glory was there none like unto him, who kept the law of the Most High and was in covenant with him. He established the covenant in his flesh, and when he was proved, he was found faithful. Therefore, he assured him by an oath, all right, a promise, right, that he would bless the nations in his seed. In his seed. What seed was that? Well, let's keep reading. And that he would multiply him as the dust of the earth and exalt his seed. All right. There's going to be a seed from Abraham that's going to be exalted with Abraham. Right. As the stars, and cause them to inherit. There's an inheritance. Cause them to inherit from sea to sea and from the river unto the utmost part of the land. With Isaac did he establish likewise for Abraham his father's sake the blessing of all men and the covenant. All right. So there it is. There's that seed. All right. Because it says that therefore he assured him, Abraham, by an oath that he would bless the nations in his seed. All right. He said that he's going to exalt his seed. Well, verse 22, it tells you who that seed was. Isaac. All right. So Abraham, that seed, Isaac. Let's keep reading. With Isaac did he establish likewise for Abraham's his father's sake the blessing of all men and the covenant. See, that's the blessing of us men of the nation of Israel, that we are going to be exalted, all right, above and rule, all right, and wear a crown, kings, right? So it says, verse 23, and made it rest. He made this oath, this promise, all right, this covenant rest upon the head of Jacob. He acknowledged him in his blessing and gave him an heritage. All right, gave him an heritage. That's that same heritage. All right, that same heritage right here, Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 17, verse 11. Beside this, he gave them knowledge and the law of life for an heritage. All right, that's to the Israelites. All right, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and made it matter of fact, let's keep going. And back in this Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 44, verse 23, and made it rest upon the head of Jacob. He acknowledged him in his blessing and gave him a heritage and divided his portions among the 12 tribes did he part them. You see, among the 12 tribes of Israel. So when it says, going back to this definition of heritage, something that comes or belongs to one by reason of birth, all right, an inherited lot or portion, all right. So our inherited lot, all right, and portion is that we're going to be exalted and that we're going to inherit from sea to sea. That's the earth, all right. That's our inheritance. But with this first heaven and the first earth, this present temporal evil world, we don't have no inheritance with this one. All right. That was the lot in the portion that was to Esau, Edom, the wicked. All right. This first heaven and this first earth and flourishing and being on power, being in power, wearing the crown, if you will. All right. That was given to the ungodly in this first heaven and this first earth, this temporal present evil world. All right. See, this is where we go through in this first, where we be afflicted. All right. Where we go through persecution, we go through the furnace of adversity. All right. All for our purification. Right. And perfecting. Right. So let's continue on, because again, right, our way exalts us, because it says in this Sirach or Ecclesiasticus chapter 44, verse 21, it says, therefore he assured him by an oath that he would bless the nations in his seed, and that he would multiply him as the dust of the earth and exalt his seed, exalt above the nations. Okay, so here it is, our way, all right, our heritage, the law of life exalts us above the heathen nations. Okay. So our inheritance, the law of life, right? Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 17, verse 11. Beside this, he gave them knowledge and a law of life for a heritage. All right. So, but first it says how that in verse 7, it says, withal he filled them with the knowledge of understanding and showed them good and evil. All right. He showed them good and evil. So we had to experience evil, right? We had to experience evil first, right? So let's go to this Second Esdras chapter 7. All right. This is the book of Second Esdras chapter 7, verse 9. It says, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, you see, for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? How are you going to receive your inheritance if you go not through the entrance? All right. And the entrance is this first heaven and this first earth. This entrance is this present temporal evil world, the dangerous place to fall. All right. So we had to go through this first, not succumb to it, but overcome it. All right. Overcome it by your mind being stayed on what's good. Yahushua, the will of the Father. All right. And the will of the Father leads to our inheritance. All right. The eternal righteous kingdom. Right. So again, we had to experience evil first, because like it said how that in that Genesis, we had to learn both to be those gods. All right. To be perfected as gods. Matter of fact, I'll be right back.